What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and we're here for a little impromptu live stream. As some of you guys probably are familiar with, there was some news that's been surfacing through Twitter today, and I was having a nice little debate about it on Twitter, so figured I'd go live with you guys and see what you guys have to say. And honestly, it's a rumor that I have talked about before, not quite into this detail, but I'm curious what a lot of you guys are thinking about it, and if you agree, disagree, and what the consensus really is. So, as you see on screen, we have a little plan about Erling Haaland to Real Madrid. So it says basically that Madrid are as we know, are looking towards getting a new striker. Benzema's getting older in age, and of course, Mbappe and Haaland are two of the young, talented goal scorers that Madrid are targeting. Jović is an interesting little piece for Real Madrid because he's a striker who, in my opinion, is good enough to start week in, week out for a Europa to Champions League type squad in one of the best 5 leagues in the world. And he also has Bundesliga experience, which means that he is naturally going to be linked back to the Bundesliga. So this article basically says that Real Madrid are going to use Jović as well as some type of cash for Erling Haaland. And the reason that this is very interesting is because Erling Haaland is worth a lot of money. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And there's that little hidden gem, which we don't really know if it's how true it is, and that's he has a release clause of about 75 million coming into the summer of 2022. So that really means that we get to keep him for an extra summer, and then potentially lose him on a release clause for 75, or get somewhere between 90 million, something along those lines, plus a direct replacement being Jović. So I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying one of two things, saying, I'm a big fan of Jović, I'd like to see him come to Borussia Dortmund, it makes sense, he's a good Bundesliga player and would honestly be a good replacement for Haaland. And on the other side of the coin, people saying, not a chance, you don't realize how important Haaland is to this team, I would rather lose him in the summer of 2022. And I don't know what my opinion really is, that's why I wanted to come live with you guys today. It is obviously out there right now, so I feel like it'd be a good time to talk about it because there's 2 huge benefits. One, I love Erling Haaland. I think he's a phenomenal striker. I think he's going to continue growing here in Dortmund, and he is so critical to this team. The other side of that is that if that release clause, which I don't know, I'm not 100% positive about it, is true, we would lose him no matter what in one more season. So do we lose him for the 75 in one more season and get a season out of him? Or do we potentially cash in this summer, get 90 million plus Jović, who is, in my opinion, a good fit for this team. So it is a good little debate. So without further ado, let's just jump into some of the questions and see what you guys have to say. I've been saying this from the start. And yeah, I mean, like when Jović broke out for Frankfurt, I figured Dortmund would have been a natural place for him. I felt like they saw what he did in the Bundesliga. They may want to target him, and it just kind of makes sense all in all. But when it comes down to it, he went over to Madrid, where he's basically wasted a couple seasons of his career, and now even back on the bench for Frankfurt right now, he's still not playing, which has got to be pretty frustrating for him, considering that it's Frankfurt. Like if you're gonna come back to the Bundesliga, you'd figure you could start for Frankfurt. He hasn't been, so him being linked to the door is definitely something that's a little interesting, and I rate Jović. Hello, my friend. How are you today? We need a better defense. We do need a better defense. we need to address a lot of situations in the summer. It's just 2 big pieces about our finances could be solved with probably the sale of Jadon Sancho, who I'm convinced will more than likely be sold. And if we sell Haaland, that is up for debate. I've already stated I really don't think he's going to go. That's why I wanted to talk about this rumor. Is I still think Dortmund would rather lose him for 75 million in 2022 if that release clause is legit, rather than cash in on him for a little bit extra money plus a player. Because I just feel like they want the presence of Erling Haaland for at least one more season instead of just cashing in. But I mean, it's all going to depend on finances. I'd be okay with this as long as we use the money to improve our defense and get a Sancho replacement. Yeah, and I mean, if we get Europa League football, that could really put a dent on it. We would lose Sancho, we could potentially lose Haaland, we would gain Jović basically to be our new number 9. We would have to put money into a couple center backs, potentially a CDM. It would be a very interesting proposal, and I really didn't think that this rumor would turn into fruition, but we know how Real Madrid can be, and if they want someone, they have a good relationship with Dortmund, they're using a make-peace little little Luke Jović. So, I mean, there's always a chance that could happen. Man, what's up with Frankfurt has won? It would be very difficult qualifying for the Champions League. And that's another reason I wanted to do this episode, is if we don't qualify for Champions League, the potential of Haaland leaving rises. I already said I think Sancho's going to leave no matter what. It's Champions League, Europa League. He's our piece to balance the books, put us in a healthy financial situation. But if we don't get that extra $75 million from the Champions League, we may look to cash in on Haaland. It's a business decision. Hang on for him for an extra year, or make a lot more money for him right now, on top of the fact we get a direct replacement in Jović, which, I mean, it's something to definitely think about. I would rather sell Sancho than Haaland. Fernando, I believe that no matter what, Sancho is going to go this summer. I think he has to, just for, again, balancing the books, getting the desperately needed money. Plus, I think that some of the big guns from the Premier League are going to come in, and Sancho just may want to go in Dortmund because of some financial situations, won't put up much of a fight this year. But Haaland is the wild card, depending on if we get Champions League football or not. And if you're looking for a strategic deal, Madrid are offering a fair price. They're offering more than a $75 million plus Luke Jović, who is a direct replacement. So that's why it's an interesting conversation to have and see what some of you guys think. Haaland doesn't impact the game unless he scores, in my opinion. So I sort of disagree with that. I get what you're saying. He has been on a bit of a streaky form since he came back from his injury, but other than that, I mean, he is definitely a player who can run down the ball. He can put pressing on the defense when we don't have the ball. He's always got energy, which is scary. Plus, he even when he doesn't put a ball in the back of the net, he still has that kind of ability to run at the defense and make some tired legs. But that was before the injury. He has been very streaky since the injury happened, but he's still a goal scorer. He's still been putting up good numbers. It's just been, a little uncharacteristic of him just being quiet. We got someone who's saying sell, better than selling for $75 million. And that's, again, that's the wild card. We would get good money up front plus Luke Jović. Luke Jović is a goal scorer, man. He would if you put him up front with some of the talent we have in this Borussia Dortmund team, he would be a fine striker, especially if we're playing in the Europa League, which, I mean, again, it sucks to even think about, but Frankfurt won today. Wolfsburg has a chance to win today. I need to jump on that game after we go live here, but it's going to be interesting. Like, if we don't get Champions League football, the reality is that we basically missed out on $75 million. So now it's do we cash in on Haaland, make more? We would definitely get much more money than we would already for him if we sell him in the summer, plus, like I said, a direct replacement. Luke Jović is a $30 million player. I'm not saying I want to see Haaland go. This is just a legitimate rumor in my eyes. Well, I could see this could potentially happen if we don't get Champions League football. $90 million will give us a better defense. Yes, and we would put a lot of that money towards that. How many new starters do you think we'll have in the squad next year? It's a good question. I'm gonna go right off script, top of my head. If we don't get Champions League football, I could see the team looking something like this. For example, Jović in net, a cheap-ish type goaltender to be our new keeper between the sticks. I still think that Meunier will be a right back. I think we'll sign a new center back, so it'll be Hummels and Akanji with, for example, Boubacar Kamara. Just a name I like to throw out there. So that's two already new signings, a goalkeeper, a new center back. Guerrero will be our left back. Delaney, Chan for our CDMs, potentially Neuhaus, but again, if we don't get Champions League football, I don't see Neuhaus coming in. Maybe Locatelli. So, I mean, take your pick if you want a new CDM. I'm going to probably say if we don't get Champions League football, it'll be Delaney and Chan. That's it. Up front, where it gets interesting, where I see a Nicolas Gonzalez as the Sancho replacement, and then maybe a Luka Jović as the Haaland replacement, and then even getting Donny Malen up there as well, just for an extra little purchase there. It'll be interesting. It'll be a completely different squad under obviously a new manager, which in my opinion will be Marco Rose. I don't know. If we don't get Champions League football, I think Haaland's future could rise a little bit. I still think there's a strong chance, no matter what we do, keep Haaland. But if they like with COVID times, and you see some of the links, Jadon Sancho, they're saying right now is a $50 million player. We were asking for 120, and right now there's apparently $50 million table or bargain. I don't even get it. Like it's the COVID situation that makes it a little uncomfortable to know exactly what's going to be happening. And if we're going to get basically screwed with these kind of deals, we're going to have to address some of these situations to rebuild the squad properly. 100 million plus Jović would be minimal. It would be a good deal. It would be a good deal. Only if in that release clause. That's still the wild card, guys. I've heard lots of rumors that it's not even real. I've heard lots of rumors that it is legit, and this is why these kind of rumors are popping up right now. We need a new goalkeeper as well. 100%. Goalkeeper, center back. I do agree we do need a right back and potentially another backup left back, but they're not critical signings, and I don't think we're going to, like I said, we're not going to go for a right back because we have Meunier. Too much money tied up in that position. It's not feasible. It's a goalkeeper. It's a center back. It's potentially, depending on the money, a CDM, but we do have a good chunk of center defensive midfielders. And then, of course, pick your trio. I mean, it could be Jović, it could be Malen, it could be Gonzalez, and it also could be Memphis Depay. But I just think with Depay's wages, I don't think he's gonna fit this squad. Even though he would, if we got rid of Haaland and Sancho, Depay would be a perfect option to come in and build the team around him. But I still think his wages will be too high. I think Jović makes a lot more sense. It's an interesting debate, man. I don't want to see Haaland go. Haaland's an absolute animal for us. He's so talented, but it would just suck to lose him. It would suck to get ripped off for Sancho if we sold him for 50, 60 mil, and then a year later lose Haaland for 75, when Haaland's worth probably upwards of 150. And Sancho's definitely worth 100, so it's never a bargain. That is true. We do need a goalkeeper. Hello, my friend. I think it'll be better next year. I just want to fast forward already. I know, but again, guys, if we don't get Champions League football, it's going to put us in an ugly situation next year. Imagine getting Jović a defense, Neuhaus, Sancho replacement for Haaland and Sancho. It would be a complete rebuild. This would be one of the biggest Borussia Dortmund rebuilds we have ever seen. Even when we finished 7th place with Klopp and we had Tuchel come in, he kept a lot of the same bodies. They just had an off season. That was a very off-putting season. Aubameyang woke up under Tuchel, and it wasn't a real rebuild. This is a textbook rebuild. Haaland and textbook rebuild, in my opinion, is no Champions League football, because that's the wild card that just says, all right, well, everything you had planned is gone. You would then be in the Europa League. You would lose out a lot of money. You would be playing Thursday nights. It would be an ugly way to restart, but it is that kind of kick in the ass that you need to restart. New manager comes in, Marco Rose. Definitely a new keeper's coming in. Take your pick. Tchaikovsky, for example. Absolutely need a new center back just for pure numbers. And then, yeah, whatever money we get from Haaland and Sancho, we'll go towards a center defensive mid. We'll go towards a striker. And it'll be a very, very different looking team under probably new tactics, and it'll be wild. Sancho would be still worth 100 million for a Premier League squad. Well, the rumors right now, guys, is that United, and everyone knows they're not dumb. They see the situation that Dortmund's putting themselves in. A, because of COVID, and B, that if they don't get Champions League football, they need to sell. They need to sell regardless, but they need to sell if we don't get Champions League football. So now they're being like, all right, well, screw your 120. We're going to offer you 60. We're going to lowball the heck out of you and probably meet somewhere in the middle of a 75 to 80, and we're not going to get the money we could have got for Sancho. His form has been getting better, which is helping us, but all in all, we're going to get probably ripped off a little bit for Sancho, and then if we sell Haaland, if that $75 million release clause is true, we're going to get ripped off for him as well. I think Madrid are offering a super fair deal during COVID. And it depends. These are just random numbers that we see. If they know, if that release clause is legit 75 mil coming in the summer of 2022, and they're offering, say, 80, 90 plus Jović for this season, then yes, it is a fair deal. It's just whether Dortmund want to cash in or not, if they can balance the books to keep Haaland, because there is still the potential, guys, that Haaland wants to be here, and they can offer him a new contract. It's not unlikely that Haaland might want to stay a little bit longer. He's still very, very young. Everyone's saying, well, he's got Champions League ambitions. The kid's 20. He's got another 15 years to compete in the Champions League and win silverware. He can still win silverware here with Dortmund. I don't think he's in a huge rush. I think he knows that, which is why I've been stating that he probably won't leave. But like I said, the Champions League is the wild card, and seeing Frankfurt win today and then seeing these rumors roll out, I was like, all right, I got to jump on and see what you guys think, because the offer I'm reading, given the situation, the release clause is real, like you're saying, my friend, is a fair deal for Madrid. I would do this deal. Jović is a good striker in the Bundesliga, and 90 million will go a long way towards fixing our back line. And yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. It is a fair deal, and it would be a complete rebuild. We would lose our manager. We would lose our two best players. We'd be in the Europa League. next season, and it's a wholesale. But again, guys, we still could qualify for Champions League, and if we do qualify for Champions League, I can promise you Haaland's not going anywhere. But this is just a hypothetical conversation because Frankfurt won today, man. They put the pressure on. We are quite a ways out of a top 4 spot, and it is looking a little scary for us. We will see the day Akanji is finally sold. I think there's a chance Akanji could be sold. I think Leicester is a legitimate target for him this summer, bring in a little bit of cash, and that's why I said, man, this squad is going to blow up if we don't get Champions League football. A complete rebuild. A lot of players will be going out the door. Schultz, Akanji will be names that will be popping up. De Hout, obviously. Then the big guns of Sancho, Haaland, like even potentially like a Brandt or I mean I know they linked Brandt and Reina. I still don't think they're gonna go, but we have 3 players in the same position, so it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild to see what happens, and we're obviously hoping and praying that we can get into the Champions League because it'll put us in a little bit better negotiating power going forward. But it will be interesting, man. Plus we have Yusufa Moukoko, who we are safe, but that's the thing. Like I don't want Moukoko to be starting week in week out because it just, for me, having a 16-year-old playing as your number 1 striker, it just isn't I don't know. I don't want to see it for a club like us. I want Moukoko to keep going on and growing behind the scenes, and then maybe when he's 18, 19, 20, start maybe going into that role. But for next season, I'd be more comfortable with Jović, for example, leading the line than Moukoko, but obviously keep letting Moukoko grow as he does. I think Dortmund will win the Champions League. You never know. We're not getting 100 million for Sancho this summer, especially given the drop in form. Sean, you're absolutely right. The number right now I've been reading is 50 million. 50 million, considering we were asking for 120. I'm not saying that's what we're going to sell him for, but the rumor right now is United are only offering 50, and that is a slap in the face because they see the situation Dortmund's in COVID as well in the league, and they know they can do it. But again, he's young, he's English. Some other teams are going to come in, potentially City, Chelsea, Liverpool. We will get more, but I agree, Sean. I don't know if we're going to get 100. I can see maybe 80. Don't worry, guys. There will be multiple bidders for Sancho. He will go for at least 80. Alex, you took the words right out of my mouth. But yes. 80 isn't 100, let alone 120. No, it's true. I just like I said earlier in the stream, guys. There's not a way we're not going to get ripped off for Sancho. Just given the way the market's going, given the way that his form's been a little inconsistent, and every club want to sneak out a deal. They're going to see what the situation's Dortmund's in, and if we get Europa League football, man, they're going to throw low ball bids at us all day long, and we're going to eventually have to take one. Akanji should be sold. He'll get some decent money. I can see Akanji going for 25 to 30, probably to the Premier League. Do you think that they would also give us an Eder Militao if we do this, maybe a loan with option to buy? I wouldn't be against it, man. That would be sweet. That would be even better. Maybe say 80 million, and then give us Jović, and then a loan for Militao. It just sweetens the deal even more. But I don't know. I don't know what they're planning with Militao. They spend a lot of money on him. Ramos' future's up in the air. I don't know how keen they are to let him go out the door. But we'll see. Even if we qualify for the Champions League, I'd do this deal because 90-plus player is better than 75 in 2022. Sean, that is the debate. That is why we're here, and I want to hear you guys' opinions because and again, this doesn't go back to this this has been a rumor that's been going around for a while. Like I've personally, way back before I was even on YouTube, thought Jović would join Dortmund. Just from giving his form, he's the type of player that would suit this Dortmund team. He ended up going to Madrid, didn't work out, but I always had a feeling, and I really like Luka Jović. I've always really liked Luka Jović. He's been such a fun player to watch, but he just never made that jump to Dortmund. He's just been going just about everywhere else. And now the rumors are starting to rise again, which is why this is a perfect little video to go live with you guys. And given the fact that Frankfurt just won today, which is just killing us. We are so far out of a Champions League position, it's actually scary. It would take 3 different games and 3 different results. Good results for us, poor results for Frankfurt to be able to make this any type of push, which is scary. We will see if he really wants to win something with Dortmund, renewing his contract without a release clause. Now, something else I mentioned as well, man. It'll go back to what Haaland wants too. Haaland, I still don't think is in a rush to move on. I don't think that he's desperately looking for a Champions League this season or next season. So I can see him potentially renewing, but if he wants to go to Madrid and Madrid are offering a package like this, I think it's something to definitely debate. This one goes to Ronaldo. Every crazy transfer does. Come on. That's why we need to make the Champions League. We need a minimum 100 million. Yep. That's what I said, guys. This channel, will be wild. It'll be wild in the summertime, man. I will be doing probably a stream every single day talking about some different type of rumor. That is how big the rebuild will be if we don't get Champions League football. It will blow up. Every player could potentially get linked to the door, man. Every single player, except for probably Royce, could be linked to the door. Everyone, they drew up an 8-man list with names that I was laughing at. Like Guerrero and Reyna, I know aren't going anywhere. But when you're in this kind of situation, these rumors are just going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. But this is one that I didn't mind, given a few different situations. This is why I wanted to see what you guys have to say. Honestly, BBB need to sort out the situation now. Get a proper manager immediately. If we don't get top 4, it's not going to happen. Terzic will be behind the bench till the end of the season. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're not going to get a third manager in this year. That's almost unheard of for a team of our caliber. They're going to hope that the team can get together, get some results, and go for a top 4 finish. But next season, a new manager will be in. 1,000%. In my opinion, I can't even go for a debate and try to make it interesting. In my opinion, Marco Rose is going to be our manager next season. Everything I read indicates that. I think he wants this job, whether it's Champions League, whether it's Europa League. He's our guy, and he's got a task on his hand. But it could be fun. It'd be a fun, interesting watch. I'd prefer Champions League, obviously, because it just makes us in a healthy situation. But it'll be wild to keep your eye on. This will be a complete rebuild. New manager, new defenders, new midfielders, new attackers, a little bit of everything. And then it'll be like, oh God, is this going to work or not? Because they can't afford to go 2 years in a row without Champions League. Jović was a really nice player 2 years ago. I think he'd do well with us. I agree. I'm feeling that they give Reyna play time just to raise his value and maybe sell him in the summer. I don't see them selling Reyna. I think Gio's a player who can stay here for years to come. And I think he'll have a bigger role next season. I feel like we need to rebuild regardless. Our squad is so unorganized. We have very strong players and very weak players. We should close the gap in an overall stable team. It will be a rebuild, guys. Champions League, Europa League, it will be a rebuild. But I think with Europa League football next year, we're going to cash in and we're going to turn this thing right around. I hope for Jović. Why are you talking about things that are never going to happen? It could happen. It could absolutely happen. If we don't get Champions League football, we may not have a choice. And the reason we're talking about it is because it's a fair package. It's not like we're coming up with a rumor that doesn't make sense. If we don't get Champions League football, we miss out on $75 million. That puts us in a huge hole. On top of that, we know Haaland's price value is, for example, 125 to 150 million. We keep him for an extra season. Someone buys him out on his release cost for 75. That is half of what he's worth. On top of that, if we go through with this deal, we get more money than we would in 2022, and we get a direct replacement with Bundesliga experience in Luka Jović. Considering that we're a Europa League caliber team without Haaland now, it's something to consider, in my opinion. Now, it is a bit of a far-fetched, and it may not happen. I don't know. This is a rumor that has been going around Twitter, which is why I want to get your opinions on it. It is a bit of a far-fetched one, but if you think about it, you think about the numbers and the situation that Dortmund's in, on top of the fact that we may or may not get Champions League football, could put us in trouble. We drew with a team like Hoffenheim, not because they are better, but they are overall balanced. We are weaker in stronger areas. I agree. Haaland, Luka swap again. We've already had this discussion. The rumors are coming back up, and I'm not sure exactly what's leading to them. I'm assuming because the fact that Champions League football is starting to adrift us, and also the fact that I don't know. The rumors are coming back up, and a lot of people are giving me two different opinions. I haven't given you guys my opinion yet. I haven't said what exactly I want to do. I've been reading other people's opinions. A lot of people are either really for it or really against it. If Haaland does leave in the summer, this would be the best option. So Dan's on it. The One Football Germany said that Frankfurt may sign Jović if they sell Andre Silva. Well, Andre Silva could potentially come to Dortmund. Are you the new manager of Borussia Dortmund? Sorry, I'm really surprised. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, my friend. I haven't given you my opinion yet. You obviously are against this deal, and these are legitimate rumors. I'm not coming here making rumors up. These are articles that I'm reading and discussing with you guys. So I've said many times don't think of myself as someone who can run the club. I'm just telling you guys rumors I see. I'm trying to give you my reaction on them. So clearly you don't support this rumor, and that's fine. But you haven't heard my opinion on it. So I hope we don't buy any players that are 19. I agree with that. I don't think that people realize that young players don't have the physique to grow, man. I agree with that. No, we want Haaland. Not going to Bayern. But yeah, guys, and Fan TV Live, this is not my opinion. This is an actual rumor going around, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. And I was pointing out the good and the bad, because letting a player like Haaland leave doesn't give the best message to our fans. That's a huge thing from Dortmund's point of view, which is why I think that they don't want to lose him. Plus, they really like Dortmund, and I know he's growing as a player here, and there's a chance that he could re-sign. There's also a chance that a release clause isn't even real. So if that release clause isn't real, and this deal on the table is garbage. It is. I don't know exactly. I'm not the coach of Borussia Dortmund. I don't know what the exact details are. However, I'm going on the other side of the coin, where if that release clause is real, this is an actual conversation that I bet you Madrid is thinking about, and other people are thinking about, because they could go and see that release clause in the season and try to offer some type of make-way deal. Barca should offer Messi money. Exactly. Alex, you get it. Fan TV, this is a YouTube. This is what YouTube is for. Why the unnecessary hate? Well, I appreciate that. And I mean, he's welcome to his opinion. I mean, he's obviously not for this rumor, but there is a legitimate case for both. And in my opinion, this rumor comes directly down to whether that is real or not, and it's the release clause. No worries, we'll wait for Haaland's a free agent. Might as well. There are many clubs putting in money for Haaland. I think this is 100% sell. It's gonna be interesting, dude. It honestly is. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, because there's too much unknown. I mean, if we get Champions League football, that changes things. If the release clause isn't real, that changes things. If there's other teams that are gonna be strategic, like Madrid's trying to get a hold on the situation. They see where Dortmund is. They see the 75 million release clause potentially sitting there in summer 2022, and they're offering a better deal. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But if that release clause isn't real, then this deal doesn't mean anything to me. So it's interesting. It's interesting to debate, and if we get Europa League football, it's something they're gonna have to think about. But I mean, I don't want to lose Haaland, so that is my opinion. I want to do everything we can to keep Haaland, because I think he likes it here and he wants to stay. Saying that, I'd be crushed to lose him for 75 million in the summertime. How can Barca? Barcelona guys, if you don't follow them, are in a shit show. Their finances, their team is absolutely awful. Haaland will not go to Barcelona. 100% he will not. In my opinion, the only teams that could really swing this kind of deal is Madrid. Madrid has lost a lot of their stars, and I think they have the money to pull it off. And then some of the big Premier League clubs, like City, if they really wanted to, United, Chelsea, the Premier League's got a lot of money to pull it off. Whether they need or want Haaland is another debate. But in my opinion right now, Madrid's probably the favorites to try to make some type of push in the summer for Haaland. But like I said, Haaland may say no. I want to stay in Dortmund for the time being. If Chelsea offers the same value, but with Werner, would you take it? Oh, I mean, I think Werner would be a better striker and a more valuable striker than Jović. Werner's worth a lot more money, plus 90 million, so I would probably go with the Chelsea deal, in my opinion. Dortmund usually sell with a big price tag, especially when there's so many clubs competing for one player. Yep, and again, only time will tell, guys. Only time will tell. I saw this article. I thought it was very interesting. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. And like I said, it's a debate. We're going to be going live and talking with you guys about this for probably the entire summer. We have to. There's going to be so many different rumors linking Haaland and Sancho and Reina and Guerrero and every player on the team out of this squad, plus a lot of new exciting rumors that are going to be coming. So it's going to be a complete rebuild, I can promise you that. But for the time being, we got to do with what we do. We have Terzic, we got Haaland, we have Sancho, we have our squad. We need to compete for the Champions League. Last question of the day means I meant Werner plus whatever money that's equal. Gotcha. I would probably take Werner in less cash than Jović in more cash, because I think Werner is a good goal scorer in the Bundesliga, but it's close because with the extra amount of cash, actually that's a debate. I'd probably go with Jović. I think Jović is still an amazing striker in the Bundesliga. I think he'd fit Dortmund pretty well, and then we gives us a lot of money to play with because we need a lot of different positions to be addressed. So I'd probably still go with the Jović deal. Plus, I don't think a lot of Dortmund fans are big fans of Werner anyways, so I think Werner will probably stay away from Bundesliga for the time being. So with that, guys, comes the end to our little live stream here. Thank you guys for joining us, and I guess we'll see exactly what's going to happen with this rumor and Haaland. I mean, I personally hope he stays, but only time will tell. So until next time, guys, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.